Okay, so let me just say that I love helping people. But when you ask for help, please make sure that you are ready to receive the help that you are asking for. I mean, seriously, you got to be ready to make those changes. If you come to me and we sit down and we spend time together, going over your finances, looking at all your debt, your credit cards, and going over your goals is what you want to do, then it tells me that you're ready. Well, you're showing me that you're ready to make a change. But then when we get to the nitty gritty, and I'm trying to tell you some of the things that you have to do to be successful with a financial plan, you don't want to make any changes. Nothing is going to change until you decide to make the changes and to make the sacrifices. You can't come to me and say, I want to get out of debt. I'm at my wit's end. I can't take it anymore. My marriage is falling apart because of the money, yada, yada, yada. And then when I make suggestions, oh, well, we may have to cut this out. We may have to scale back on this. We may have to do, this, that, or the other in order to get you to where you need to be. And then you don't want to make those changes. You can't change without changing. I mean, you have to you got to do something different. Otherwise, nothing's going to change. You got to be willing to make the sacrifices that come with getting out of debt, that come to getting into a positive with your finances. It's not rocket science, okay? If you want to make this happen, you have to make it happen. These are temporary sacrifices. The rate at which you want to get out of debt is directly correlates to the level of sacrifices that you're willing to make. No sacrifices, you're not going anywhere. So don't come to me and tell me, I'm willing to make these changes and I'm ready, and you're not ready. Because you're not going to make those changes until you get to the point where you are sick and tired of living a life of struggling paycheck to paycheck, not knowing how you're going to pay your next your mortgage or your rent, or juggling, robbing Peter to pay Paul. Until you're ready to stop living that life. Do me a favor, don't waste your time and don't waste my time, because like I said, I'm willing to help anyone. Many times, oftentimes, it's at no cost to the person because they're already in dire straits. So when they come to me, I believe they're at a point to where they're ready to make that change. And so being in the situation they're in, I'm like, okay, don't worry about, the fee or whatever. Now that's not for everybody. I'm just saying, I have done that oftentimes. And so you're getting the service for free, and you're not taking advantage of this information or the advice that I'm giving you. You have got to want to make those changes for yourself in your life, or just continue going down that road that you're going. Continue to live a life full of debt and struggle and stress. I mean, it's your choice. You need to make that choice for yourself. Either you want to do better in life, financially speaking, or you want to stay where you are or continue to go down that road of living a life full of debt and not getting ahead and not being able to afford college for your kids and not being able to retire or having to work at Walmart or at the Strauss Center, Performing Center, or whatever as an usher, because you have not done what you're supposed to do right now for the future. Stop living like you don't have a future. Live your life as if you have a financial future. Your children are dependent on you. There are people that are depending on you to set the path, to set a good example, leave a legacy. You don't want to leave a legacy of debt. You want to be able to show your children how to get ahead in life, financially speaking. And you want to make sure that they're in a place to where they can be successful. You don't want them taking out a boatload of student loan like we did, or like you did, or like many of us did, and we're still reaping the consequences of those choices of taking out student loans. We're not able to live our best lives because we're debt-ridden with student loans, or we ignore the student loans and don't pay them, go into default or delinquent or whatever, and we continue to try to live our best life, but in reality, you're not, because you have this debt hanging over your head. So you go and enjoy your concerts, your cruises, your vacations, purchase too much house, purchase too much car, purchase too many clothes or whatever. And the consequences are going to come later in life. You know, where's the money going to come from? When you retire, you know, what are you going to live on? I mean, you got to start thinking about your future. Live as if you have a future and be ready to make those changes. Don't think that's because it's hard. Yeah, you're going to have to make some sacrifices, but they're temporary. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I remember being stationed in Colorado one time, and this family was going through a really, really rough time. And the head of the family, the father, someone had asked him, he had took a menial job, and somebody asked him, "Oh man, you gonna do that job?" And he was like, "Excuse my French, man, I will shovel SHIT to feed my family." Sometimes you have to make those sacrifices to make stuff happen. And if you're not willing to make those sacrifices, don't come crying to me or someone else that, to say that nobody will help me, or I don't know what to do, I don't know which way to turn. Well, I'm here for you, but I cannot do the work for you. You have to be willing to do the work yourself. Come on, guys, let's come on, time out for playing. It's time to get it together. Live like you have a future. I care about you. You need to care about you. I care about your family. I care about your future. You need to care about your family, and you need to care about your future, and do the right thing. Live your life like you have a future.